Hi everyone, welcome back to Mom's SST Shiksha. Hope everybody is doing well and hope your revision is consistent, not just for SST but for other subjects as well. Remember, consistent studies is a huge factor in improvement of marks. Today's chapter, Federalism. So as always, before we dive into the chapter, here is a summary of the chapter, Federalism. It is a system where power is shared between the central and the state governments. This division helps maintain unity while respecting India's diversity. States handle local issues, the centre handles national issues, and the constitution makes sure that the conflicts are resolved smoothly. So basically, federalism keeps democracy strong and ensures everybody's voice is heard. So the first question on this slide is, why was the Constitution of Belgium changed? And the second question is, explain the unitary system of government on page 14 and 15 respectively. Just a quick note to add that depending on the version of the textbook you have, the page just may vary. What is federalism and explain its key features? This answer starts on page 14 and continues to page 15. So here you can see that point number 5, 6 and 7 of the previous question is here, and that concludes the answer after point number 7. The other question on this slide is the exact balance of power between the central and the state government varies from one federation to another. Answer is on page 15, and this is a board question, so pay extra attention. So our first objective here is the Constitution declared India as a union of states. Now the question here says, what makes India a federal country? Now you can see the length of the answer, and this looks very likely like a 5-marker. However, prepare it as a 5-marker and be ready that it could be asked as a 3-marker as well, where you simply have to shorten the answer a bit. Board question, pay attention. Question, list some states that enjoy special status and why. And the other question, there are some units of the Indian Union which enjoy very little power. Why? Both on page number 17. Mark it while you read it. First question, it is not easy to make changes to the power sharing arrangement and why? Second question, what happens in case of disputes about the division of power? And the third, which is a board question, what are the powers of the union and the state government? All on page number 17. Please mark. To what can the real success of federalism in India be attributed to? The second question, what is the difference between the political map of India in 1947 and 2019? Both answers on page 19. Please mark. What fears were attributed to the formation of linguistic states? And the second question, note on the language policy in India, both on page 20. There's also a glossary on it, so please make sure that you pay attention to the glossary as well. Two questions on page number 20. The first one is, according to the Constitution, the use of English for official purposes was to stop in 1965. Did this hold? And the second question is the center and the state relations. So the question here is, what changes were prevalent in the center-state relations? Answer starts on page 20 and continues to page 21. I put into objectives here. The third tier of the government is called the local government, and the rural local government is also called the Panchayati Raj. Now, these can be asked either as 1-markers or as MCQs, but the point is that these are the little tidbits that are tucked away and we kind of overlook. So make sure that you give this a read or write it down, mark it in your textbook, whatever is convenient to you. Two questions on this slide. Explain decentralization and the need for decentralization. can be asked either as separate questions or it can be asked as one whole question for a 5 marker. For example, explain decentralization and the need for it. On page 24, please mark it. What amendments were made in the Constitution to support change? Answer is on page 24, 5 points. Please mark it. First question, note on the rural local government. Second one, note on the Gram Sabha. And third, Panchayati Samiti. All on page number 24 and 25. So question here is note on local bodies in urban areas. Answer is on page 25. And an objective here is the members of the Zilla Parishad are members of the Lok Sabha and the MLAs of that district. Wow, we're at the end of the chapter. That chapter flew by fast. It was quite crisp. The answers are on point. Quite a simple chapter to learn. And here are the board questions that I found in my research. In case you find any extra questions, please add them to your question bank because this will help you immensely when you're doing your final revision for the board exams. And now, as always, a final word from me. Please make sure that you attempt all NCERT textbook questions that appear at the end of the chapter. Please attempt MCQ and AR practice because a lot of children make mistakes in this and it will simply cost you 1 mark, which will kind of bring down your total. So the more you practice, the better it is for you. That's it from me today. Until the next chapter, take care and happy studying, beta.